video tutorial, I will show you how to use the query tool in ATLAS.ti Mac. First, open the Quotation Manager. You can do this by going to Quotations, Show Quotation Manager, or clicking on Quotations here. This will open the Quotation Manager, and here you will see a number of different options. First of all, you can group your documents in different ways. Let's say, I'm sorry, I meant to say you can group your quotations in different ways by documents. These are all of the quotations corresponding to this particular document, Belkin Parenting Blog discussion. These are the two quotations corresponding to the case number 22, and so on. You can group your documents by document groups. These are all of the quotations corresponding to documents that are members of the document group Research, Report, and Comments. You can sort your quotations, I meant to say, by codes. This quotation corresponds to this blue code. These quotations are no code. This one to SQ, reasons for not having children, and so on. By code groups as well. All of these quotations are linked to codes that belong to the code group attribute codes, and so on. By type, these are the text quotations and PDF quotations. If you had audio and video and graphical quotations, they would also be listed, grouped in that way. By creating user, modifying user, and by nothing. That means everything together. Now, if you, let's say, group your quotations by any of these conditions, such as groups, then you can create an output. So here is the output in Excel. So what do you see here? You see the information regarding each one of the quotations, the ID of it, the name of it, the content of it, the document from which it comes, the codes that are linked to the quotation, the number of codes linked to the quotation, if there is any comment written on the quotation, location, creator, creation date, modifier, modification date. Now, given that the output was of quotations by document groups, we see here below tabs for each document group. So these here are the quotations that correspond to the document group Belkin Parenting Blog Discuss. These are the quotations that correspond to another document group, to another one, and to another one. Now you will notice that the spreadsheet looks different, because what you have to do here is you have to format, and this is Excel, wrap text, alignment, wrap text, okay, and now you have this formatted in a better way, okay? But this is Excel, not something that has to do with ATLAS.ti. All right, so that is the output of quotations, in this particular case, grouped by document groups. Well, I'm going to save this. All right, so let's go back. Now, what do we do here? Well, you may want to documents, group them by nothing, quotations grouped by nothing. And now let's go to the filter tool here, and here's where we can start creating very interesting queries. So contains quotations which must match all, any, exactly one of the following rules. So let's add a rule. let's say, what are the possible rules? Many. The number of the quotation, the name of it, the comment, whether it has a comment, a specific text content, for example, that contains happy. So these are the quotations, 150 out of 590, that contain the word happy. Let's add yet another rule. So quotations that contain the word happy that are in document, let's say documents of a group, well, a number of different groups. There is one group that is called precisely about happiness, so we should expect documents that include the word happy there. Let's say blogs, 130 quotations out of 590 are quotations that include the word happy and that are members of documents that, that are in the documents that are part of the group blogs. Okay, and so on. You can keep on adding different rules. Let's eliminate that rule by clicking on the minus there, and now let's see something else. Let's say quotations are coded with a code or codes that belong to a group. Quotations coded with the code, blog entry plus and that and are let's say quotations are coded with blog entry and are in the document that belong to the group blogs. Okay, so that is what we are doing here, and it seems to me that this is not necessary there. Okay, all right, so here you have and that means that these are here, let me see how many, 447, no, 139, I'm sorry, 139 out of 590. These are the quotations that are coded with the code blog entry and that are part of the documents that belong to the document group blogs. Okay, so another way of saying this could be, let's refer to another example, right? So let's see what are people saying about cultural competence, but only those people I interviewed in neighborhood A in New York. You see, that is what you would be getting applying the AND Boolean operator and these other rules here. So there are so many possibilities for you here, and what I would like to recommend is that you just experiment. Okay, go one by one and start combining. And the new or the updated version of the manual will be published soon, and that version will contain a description of this. But you know, I think that to a large extent you have to practice here in order to really understand how this works. But it's very, very simple. You see, it's all in the manager. Now, what is very important to mention here is that you can access these filters and these queries not only for quotations, but let's do the same thing for documents here. Show Document Manager. And you see that you can group your documents in different ways, by document groups, by codes, code groups, let's say code. So all of the documents, uh, no codes. So let's see, by document groups, by codes. So here we see these two documents are coded with the code block entry. These two are coded, or let's say this in a better way perhaps. In these two documents, we have twice the use of the code family one child, and so on. By code group, so here we have by code group. Okay, here we have these three documents include codes that belong to the code group attribute codes, and so on. Nothing. Now, of course, you can produce an output here by going to the output icon, and then you will have this Excel spreadsheet where you will see at the bottom tabs, tab for each one of the groups. Now let's do something else here, and let's see what happens if I click on the filter icon. Contains documents which must match all, any, exactly one of the following rules. All right, so what are the rules? The documents that, let's say, the name contains the word, contains, begins with, ends with, is, contains the word blog. These three. Now, you can start combining rules. Plus, and that have comments. Yes, have comments. Or no, do not have comments. Nothing. So words that contain the word blog and do not have comments. All right, let's see what else here. Names that, or documents that, well, that are, or that contain codes. What codes? Family one child. These two. And so on. So once again, practicing, clicking on plus to combine, and always clicking on this output icon in order to produce an output in Excel. So now let's see what happens if you open the code manager. Codes, code manager, or codes here. And here you are in the code manager, and once again grouped by a number of different options. I will not go through them again. I will not go through them here. Just you try them. And then you have the option again to apply a filter and start and proceed to create these queries. So contains codes with which must match all, any, exactly one. And then you start adding the rules. Well, you know, this is interesting. Color. Yeah, no color. Blue. Anything with blue? Yes, these two. And now you may want to add another rule and start combining, right? So many different options, and I love this idea of being able to to query by colors, and of course the possibility of combining different rules is also great. And again, the output here in Excel by clicking on this output icon. You can do the same thing for memos. Group and memo groups, user, creating, modifying user or nothing, and go here to the filter and start looking for different options, right? Memo that has a comment name. Let me see, creation date. Yes, one thing that is maybe we should have here is content. Name, comment, has comment, yes or no, and comment is the name, is the content of the comment. Let's say a memo that contains as part of its comment the word blog. Is there anything? Nothing. Okay. All right. Memos that are linked to a given code, to quotations, to other codes, to other memos that are in groups. And once again, output by clicking here. Now you should experiment more, because you can also go to the document group manager and do exactly the same. Different ways of grouping. That's not active yet, so let's wait for that to be activated. And then filter and create query expressions, and then the output for quotations. Then you can work with this link manager, relation managers, code. Let's look at show link manager here. And exactly the same thing, grouped by relation, source, target, and so on, and filter, start creating queries, link, yeah, all of these different semantic linkages that you can query. Okay, so let me see if there is anything else I could show you here. Network manager. I went to network manager, group by user, modifying and creating users, and once again here, and once again you start creating expressions according to certain characteristics of your networks: the name, comment, whether it has a comment, and the dates, and combination. What else can you do? Well, you have the option of applying a filter here. Filter off, filter on. In the navigator, you can start also applying filters. So let me show me all of the documents that, well, this document, that document. Let me see, contains, let me look at the rules. Okay, the documents that the name include the word blog. These three. Now, if you want to turn the filter off, you have to go here and remove the how can we call this, the rule that you applied. So now it's off. If you go to the quotation in the navigator, quotations, you can apply filters here and start applying filters. So all of the quotations coded with the code family want child. Only this, you see? Only the quotations coded with the code block question. These two, and so on. And if you want to remove, filter minus. If you want to add another rule, plus, and keep on doing that. Codes, the same thing. You can filter right here in the navigator. And memos also, and networks also. So the options are many, and this makes Atlas.ti Mac very powerful in terms of how you can interrogate the data, and I think that the possibility of exporting the product of those interrogations, let's say, in Excel, opens a new door for analysis. So thank you very much. I hope this was useful.